Yeah, they're both recording, so whenever you're ready.
Cool.
I should have worn nicer shoes.
Sick.
Okay.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Smart TV, where we ask academics, professors, other super smart people to come to a very non-academic thing, which is watch TV with us. Our guest today is Kevin Anderson. He is a PhD in anthropology, a lecturer of film studies and production, and currently working on an ethnography of coffee, which, do you still have a title in mind for it? You don't want to reveal yet?
Working title, Groundshound.
Thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure to be here.
And we're going to watch a show that I think both you and I are pretty big fans of.
Big fan.
And that's Black Mirror.
Yeah.
So a lot of shows out there, a lot of shows you watch. Why did you want to pick Black Mirror?
Well, it's a little bit different from a lot of other shows out there, namely because it's a different cast, different setting, different scenario every episode. You know, you can kind of tell it all takes place in this common universe, but we don't see an exchange of characters or storylines, and I think it makes for that's much more demanding writing. It's like you're writing it to make a short film every time, and for the most part, I think they hit it out of the park almost every time. Yeah, it's just really impressive writing and production.
So for people who haven't seen it, like you said, there's no consistent plot, there's no consistent characters. How would you describe it though? Like 2 sentences. What is it?
Black Mirror, Twilight Zone for the digital age.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's less than a sentence. Well done. Okay. Yeah. So today, we're going to be watching an episode from season 4, the latest season, since it moved to Netflix. Kill the DJ.
Hang the DJ.
4. Hang the DJ. I keep wanting to say, I'm getting murderous with it. Yeah. From the Smiths lyric, right?
Yeah,
from Panic.
The Smith lyric.
So Hang the DJ is that one. A lot of themes, visual themes I want to get into, some of the romance, but we can jump into that once the show starts. First, as requested, we do have your TV watching snack. I probably should have gotten more of them, but got a few. Chocolate-covered pretzels.
I think it's good you didn't get more.
Good. Yeah, maybe.
Chocolate-covered pretzels.
Everyone's asked for healthy snacks. I appreciate you getting something that I actually want to eat during the show. So, and yeah, before we start, just a disclaimer, spoilers everywhere on what we're going to discuss. So if you haven't seen the episode and you're cool with it being ruined, keep watching. Otherwise, maybe go watch it first. Okay, we're going to get into it then. Hang the DJ. All right. Let's play.
Oh.
Coach,
Yes, Frank?
where do I go?
Proceed to the hub.
Those little things, they don't ever have any logos or anything. It's all very...
No, it's abundant with objects and activities, but there's no logos, no brands, no cell phones.
Yeah, everything is
the system.
really generic, yeah.
How will I know who he is?
This is him.
Do you know how we order?
I think we use these.
Oh,
Menu choice already established.
Oh, here you are, sir.
So I think that's an interesting point, because the system chooses the date they choose the meals, the appetizers. There's lots of great just over the shoulder these men in the black suits. It's kind of reminiscent of The Handmaid's Tale. This hint that there is an authority, or the authorities are not far from where they are. So they are being watched.
That was good.
And it adds that sense of danger, but they don't dwell on it.
Yeah, it's...
A lot of times the guys in black are just kind of in soft focus.
Yeah,
and you just barely notice them.
shall we check our expiry date?
Yeah, good plan.
Right. On 3, 2, 1, go. 12 hours.
Yeah, 12 hours.
But they never entertain. Well,
Okay.
hang the DJ, screw the system.
Yeah.
Let's just,
Sure, isn't it?
do our own thing.
Oh,
It's
okay,
no,
sure,
that's
sir.
okay.
Huh.
And notice with the mise en scène, the naturalness of it, like a wooden bed, stacks of wood, firewood, wood paneling. It's what they're doing seems natural. It kind of adds or is trying to add to that.
Bloody time.
So they hint at, and I think
It was
this
great.
what we're talking about,
You
which,
were
again, is
nice.
my take on it,
So are you.
that the system actually does give them a bit of, free will.
That's interesting because I think it's still like you're going to come to the conclusion I already have.
Yeah, so allowing them at any moment to say, well, screw it, we had a great time last night. Let's go do our own thing.
That's true.
I'm Frank.
So this is a different eating place. The color palette in the other one was more red and gold.
Warmer
It
colors.
was like silvery and blue, so that helps because these two do not
Really?
hit it off.
Started already.
I was hungry.
I found it's best to have sex straight away up front.
Right.
Kind of breaks the ice. Gives an early overview.
Nothing
of
like sex to break
compatibility
the
and so on.
ice.
And nothing like intellectualizing sex to break the
Comfortable
ice.
with doing
Yeah.
the same, you should.
Yeah.
And again, I do think it's important to show that this is fulfilling their sexual expectations,
As compared
but not these two.
Tikka masala. Just
to... Yeah.
it's, tikka masalas.
Oh, sorry.
Talking makes it worse.
Ever since we've met, this world has been toying with us. It's trying to keep us apart. It's a test, I swear.
So
it
they
is, and the
decided
two of
to
us
run off
rebelling
together.
Is something to do with passing it.
And supposedly within the diegesis, there's nothing. There's a wall, and then beyond the wall, there's nothing.
Just gotta
And they say,
pop
let's
the
go
whole
climb the
thing
wall.
off and go.
Let's just do it.
Right
Again,
over it.
hang the
No matter what's
DJ.
out there.
So there's this element of risk. They have to go against the system. They have to risk physical harm with the taser, and then in climbing this massive wall, to prove to the system that their love is genuine.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets like, really? It's that high? And then you realize, oh, it's just like a program.
Now, when you saw it, like, were you pretty sure it was a simulation the whole time?
No, that wasn't the first
Me
time.
neither.
No. I won't say
You
that.
read the recaps and you're like, everyone got it already?
998. But what is that? Days, hours, months. Yeah, so here we get that digital kind of intermixing with their physical reality. It's noisy. There's lots of activity.
It's gritty.
It's grittier in the foreground, background. It just gives that element of. So it really contrasts to the kind of very highly choreographed and crafted world inside the system.
All right. So I want to talk about a lot of the visual things here. I think comparing this to not as just a typical sci-fi show, but something in the tradition of Twilight Zone, it's a little warped. It's a little surreal. So how this show visually is able to achieve that.
Well, I mean, in addressing that issue with this episode in particular, the world they give us is believable. I shouldn't say more believable, but it's very recognizable, but there's something almost uncanny about it. It's like, oh, it's a restaurant. Oh, it's a nice-looking restaurant for the little cabins in the wood, for their amorous activities. It's all designed. The fire's already going. So as the episode goes, even though the locations have a familiarity with them, they start to become rather unappealing. Begins to kind of be a bit of a turnoff and make us start to question, well, is this world real that they're in?
Yeah. So I want to talk about the visual style. As you mentioned, this show changes up completely every time in terms of the plot, in terms of the world, the characters. So what are those like visual elements that connect it to where we still know, yeah, that's a Black Mirror episode?
They do use, in a lot of episodes, and in this one too, a lot of shallow focus, which, just in terms of cinematic language, it's only revealing only so much to the audience in terms of the visual plane. And so it adds that sense of mystery and what's coming next, and is what we're seeing stable.
Another, like, the camera thing is something that I wanted to ask you about is you have a lot of different dates run through here. About half of them with Frank and Amy, the other half with other partners.
Yeah.
And how, beyond the language, how do they convey that sense of connection or isolation?
In most of the shots, there's often stuff in the background that kind of provides like it's not partitioning or creating a division between the two, but there'll be like a line, like a window frame line in the background that kind of separates them. And so it's kind of showing that they're together, but there's like these visual clues that they're not really connecting.
Got it. I know you were interested especially in the break at the end and kind of how that was.
When they climb the wall. Yeah. So, there's mention in the episode about like, F it, let's go, let's climb the wall and just do our own thing. And it's like climbing this, outrageously tall wall. It's like when you get the shot from below, it's like, oh, that's a tall wall. But then when you get the shot is parallel with them on the wall, it's like, okay, wait, this is impossibly tall. So things are not what they seem. Yeah. And then of course, we get this kind of digital interface with the bodies turn into, bits of data, essentially, I guess, that fly up into the system and help it determine whether or not people be a good match. Then we're in a bar somewhere in the UK, and the Smiths song, Hang the DJ, is playing in the background. Yeah, and it's not super gritty, but you definitely, things are not polished the way they are inside the system. And even though I really think it's a good choice of the camera angles, there's quite a distance between them in the bar. It's almost like he's in a bar in a slightly different room, and she's about to enter that room. And there's people going in the background and interrupting their visual line. But when they look at each other, there is that absolute genuine connection that like shows that this is an authentic form of love that these two people have found.
So in the canon of Black Mirror, this is considered, I think, one of maybe 2 happy episodes.
There's hardly any episodes with happy endings.
Yeah. Would you consider this a happy episode?
Well, within the diegesis of the episode, it is a happy ending.
Let me
the characters are happy.
Though. I mean, do you because there's some draining Black Mirror
episodes.
Yeah.
No, there's ones I can't even revisit.
Yeah.
White Bear.
Yeah.
I think you generally say this is one of the few Black Mirror episodes. Like if you have a friend out there who's like, oh, I've heard Black Mirror, like say, just watch Hang the DJ. You'll enjoy it and you'll get a sense of what Black Mirror is trying to do. It's showing us our possible world.
Yeah. Well, with that in mind, last thing I want from you, so bringing you in here as an academic, as a filmmaker, you're also a dude who likes TV. So I want you to rate this episode out of 5 on both levels. So academic brain and fan brain. What do you give it out of 5 in each category?
Fan brain, it's probably a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
It's one of the better ones, definitely. And academic wise, I think it gives us a bit to think about. Absolutely. Is it an absolute like tutorial in like cinematography and mise-en-scène? It's well done, definitely. But not super inventive, not groundbreaking. So I'd say academically maybe like a 3.
Okay. So not bad. Not bad. Not
3.5.
bad, Black Mirror. Not bad.
3.5.
Okay. Well, Kevin, thanks so much for coming in. We got one more pretzel before we hit the road.
Yeah. Thank you.
And thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Smart TV. We'll see you next time.